By saying I really appreciate the outreach from everyone when it comes to my the passing of my grandfather. That was really hard for me to go through, and I'm still going through it. But one thing that I've learned about life is that life is going to hit you sometimes, and when everything's going really well for you, things happen, and then it catches you off guard. But if you stay ready and you stay plugged up for those situations, then you'll be all right. And the important thing is when something like that happens, when you lose somebody that you love in life, whether it's family member or even your best friend passing away, you just gotta keep your head on your shoulders, and you gotta stay positive even when it's not the easy thing to do. And that's something that I've always done throughout my life. I've had a lot of bad shit happen, so this is very tough to deal with. But I do appreciate all the outreach and all the comments and the messages. People have been calling, people have been texting, people have been messaging me on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. It's been really good. But the bottom line is the Read and React show is something that we are hoping to build, and we're really going to start building at this off season. We started it during the season, obviously, but the main goal was the off season. Because that's really where we can build up the most. So I'm ready, and I hope you guys all are too.
Yes, and off that note, we got a lot to talk about. And me and Jim, we've been talking on Twitter here and there for a bit, but we really haven't gotten depth. I've been busy with work. We've all been busy doing our own thing. We've been talking about things here and there that's been going on. So, as of right now, I'm going to let Philly Jim take the floor, whatever he wants to start with first. We're just going to roll with this. We don't have anything really scripted. Everything's pretty much just a free-for-all stream right now. I think it's better anyway just to get some stuff off our chests and to really go for it. So you go right ahead, bro.
All right. There's a lot of shit to talk about, so I honestly don't really know where to start. But I'm going to go ahead and start with certain somebody on this roster who came over in 2017. His name's Alshon Jeffrey, and there's been a lot of shit with him lately. There was a lot of reports that came out of him. Like, it seemed like every day there was a new story about Alshon Jeffrey. He had a standoffish relationship with Carson Wentz, and it was weird, man. It was really weird to see all of that just come out, and it just came piling up. It was like he has a testy relationship. A player confronted him. We don't know what player it was. I have an idea who it was, and it could be a lot of players. Brandon Brooks didn't address whoever the quote-unquote snitch was during the season at one of his locker room pressers, so it could be him. But I think it's Lane Johnson. I think Lane is a guy that you don't want to fuck with in the locker room. I think he's probably the most vocal player we have when it comes to stuff like that. So I really think Lane Johnson may have been the one that got in his face. And they did say it was a notable offensive player. So how many notable offensive players do we have? It could have been Ertz. He's Carson Wentz's best friend. It could have been him. But he really doesn't seem like the type. But I think he would stand up for him. But I think it's Lane Johnson. Do you have any thoughts on that, or who you think it might be? And any other thoughts about the Alshon Jeffrey situation?
Well, the first of all, it was probably the beginning of this whole thing, and that was, we heard Brandon Brooks talking about, someone's got to step up, and those people that the person that has been doing all this stuff in the background has not stepped forward yet, and never really happened. So, I mean, it just puts a bad taste in my mouth. Like, this is a guy that we got in 2017. This was like we actually got a receiver that year because we were dying for receivers that had talent and that could catch, and we were very excited for this. But after hearing all that's going on, whether he's talked to Josita Anderson, and ESPN and whatever he's saying. I mean, my point of view, this whole thing is that the Eagles want him out of the building, period. And the problem with that is that it's going to be really, and he's coming off of an injury right now, an injury that could pretty much go into the first or second week of the season. So at this point, it's going to be
longer than that.
It might be longer than that. So you got to, it's going to be really hard to trade him. Number one is the drama that's going on. Number two, he's making $9.5 million. He's a $15 million cap hit. And number three, he's hurt. So, I mean, at this point, what stupid team is going to trade for Alshon Jeffrey? You trade him at $16 million in dead cap, and if you release him, it's $26 million.
Right. I got something to add on to that, what you just said. You make good points about Alshon Jeffrey being hard to move, and I agree that he would be, but I've also seen similar situations like this in the past. When you see the Houston Texans a few years ago, they gave Brock Osweiler a lot of money. And, that was probably one of the worst NFL contracts that's ever been signed. But they basically gave Osweiler away. They dumped him on the Cleveland Browns, got nothing in return for him, and they essentially did a salary dump. You saw the same thing with Aqib Talib with the Rams this past season. They pretty much gave him away to the Dolphins. Got nothing for him, but the point is not getting value for him. The point is getting the player off the team, and the Eagles can do that. Even if the Eagles get a 7th round pick, it's going to be worth it. And there's better options to fill that position on the team. I mean, There's a lot of receivers in the draft. A lot of guys showed out at the combine. A lot of guys have been raising their stock at the Senior Bowl. There's even guys in free agency that we can go after. And I think the Eagles are going to add 2 receivers for sure. And I think they might add 3. I think that there could be 3 new guys.
Yep.
You take that away.
All right, so we have a super chat for Philly Talk Podcast, $1.99, and he has a question. How you feel about Marty? Philly Mike, bro.
Marty Mortway?
Yes.
Well, I think I'm not expecting a lot from Marty Morningweg. And Marty Morningweg was here, and he wasn't very good as an offensive coordinator. So people are getting caught up in like all these coaches that we have. We have Deuce Staley. He and Jeff Stoutland are going to be tag teaming as the running game coordinator. And then Press Taylor's he's the passing game coordinator. Mike Groh's out, so he won't be a part of any game planning. He's with the Colts now with Frank Reich. And then Morningwood. So basically you have Doug Peterson who's at the top, and then the rest of the guys are just guys. They're just there for input, and that's basically it. So I'm putting my faith in Doug Peterson. He hasn't been the greatest play caller, but I think with the personnel that he has had due to injuries, he's done a pretty good job coaching this team. I can't take it away from him. He's not the greatest play caller, but what he does bring to the table is the players in the locker room play hard for him. He can galvanize the team.
Right.
He's a leader of men, and not every team can say that. There's teams that have great play callers. You got Kyle Shanahan, and people are oohing and ahhing about his offense, but is he a leader of men? Is Sean McVay a leader of men? The answer for me is I don't think they're a leader of men. I think Doug is not. He doesn't excel as a play caller, but I think he excels as a leader of men, and to me, that is more important than drawing up all these crazy plays. Obviously, he does need to improve it. I'm not saying he's a perfect coach, but the guy gets it done 3 straight years in the play. So I'm good with Doug, and I am putting all my faith in Doug. Granted that we make the right moves in the draft, we get some receiver help. You gotta stack backfield right now. Jordan Howard, we don't know if he's coming back or not, but even if he doesn't, Miles Sanders excelled as the lead back, and I think he will have a Pro Bowl season next year and really shine as the number 1 guy. Boston Scott emerged late. He may add another back. Shady McCoy is interested in a return per some reports. So I'm pretty much putting all my faith in Doug. Granted, we make the right personnel decisions.
Yeah, like the only thing I can take out of this whole thing with all these new offensive assistants, you got like the passing coordinator of Mississippi State, and then you got I forgot the Denver offensive coordinator. I had his name in my head and I totally just forgot.
Yeah.
And now hiring Marty. I mean, we just need we really can't go off of what we're really. I mean, look, Doug's putting more pressure on himself, and that's fine with me because I'd rather have him have the pressure, him make the rules, him call the plays. We weren't going to hire a coordinator. Most coordinators want to call plays, and this is why Doug has the assistants. This is why having a passing game coordinator in Press Taylor. He likes Press Taylor a lot, and you know what? He wants to put more weight on him and kind of have him do a lot more with this offense, okay? And then you have Deuce Staley, Jeff Stoutland as the run game coordinators, which I'm actually fine with. I just didn't want Press Taylor as like the own offensive coordinator. And speaking of, the moves that we have to make and going to this draft, it's not one of those things where, we're going to take a chance. I don't want the quote unquote, we're going to take a chance on this guy. I want them to go up and get their guy. I don't care if it takes 2 first rounders and a third. I don't care if it's a first rounder this year and a second and a first, whatever it is. I mean, this is the draft where they have to go after their guy. I mean, they could sit back and just wait. But you have a favorite in the draft. I'm kind of like, I want like one of these 4 guys. Okay, I want one of these guys on my team. I want one of these guys on the Philadelphia Eagles, period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I understand what you mean.
But I'm saying as of, right now, I know that the past, with some of these guys we've been drafting and we made some mistakes. Some people have hope in certain players, but you know what? I was really fascinated. I watched the whole combine when I couldn't watch it because I was at work, but I watched the whole combine.
I only watched highlights of that.
Well, of the wide receivers or whatever. So, and the corners. But I was really intrigued by these receivers. I mean, it's so deep this year that you can get a guy, get a guy late in the first round, you get a guy in the early second round, and I think it stops by the third round. But if you want to go get that guy that's going to come on your team and it's going to start and that is going to produce immediately, this team needs that right now. So that's what I got to say about that.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. And I have been talking a lot about the draft, pretty much since January, February. Been doing a lot of videos on that, and I hear what you're saying. You're saying, okay, you got 4 guys that you keep in mind that you'd like to add to the team, and I agree. I mean, I'm not saying I'll be upset if we don't. I won't be upset if we get one of those 4 guys. I mean, there's a lot of talent. There's Judy. There's Lamb. There's Ruggs. Denzel Mims is shooting up the boards now. Justin Jefferson, no one expected him to run a 4.4 in the 40-yard dash. Guy's got good ball skills too. There's other guys like Rieger as well. But for me, the time has come that you don't just have to get your guy, you have to get the guy. And for me, the guy is CeeDee Lamb. And it's going to be hard to get him, but I don't think it's going to be too hard to get him. Last year, I would say it's probably too hard to get Quint. You know, that was a historic defensive line draft.
Yeah.
And the Eagles covered defensive linemen. We know that. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if we added another defensive lineman and free agency to this rotation. You have Malik Jackson coming back to the DT rotation there with Fletcher Cox. He'll be starting alongside him, but I expect something to happen there. But you got to go up and get CeeDee Lamb. You're going to have to get into the top 10. You may have to get close to the top 5. You may have to get to 6, 7, or 8 to make it happen. You may have to give up a first this year and next year, but the Eagles can do that. When you look at the whole landscape of things, the quarterback's good. Both of the lines are good. The main holes are in the secondary and at the receiver position. So if you want to put all your chips in the table, go get it. You know, and I like Henry Ruggs. I don't love him. A lot of people love him.
Yeah.
I don't love him. I have questions about whether or not these smaller frame guys have the strength to beat the press coverage. When you get a big physical corner on you like Byron Jones, this guy's over 6 feet tall. He's close to 200 pounds. Ramsey, big physical guy, a lot of length. I have a question of whether or not, because that's what I've seen with Deshaun Jackson following his career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy is so small. He has elite speed, but he can't beat the press coverage. And he has disappeared in a lot of playoff games. And he did get criticized for that before he went to Washington, for disappearing and not really being able to make an impact. I think CeeDee Lamb can make an impact anytime, anywhere. I think he can beat press. I think he's the best at contested catches. I think Judy has him beat in one area, and that area is his footwork and his route running.
Mm-hmm.
The way he can cut, he runs his routes, very, very crisp. The guy's a beast. But CeeDee Lamb is the best overall. I got Judy behind him. Then I got Ruggs. After that, it's very hard to get that 4 guy, but I'm going to go with Jefferson. He's my 4th guy. He was my 5th guy before the combine, but he's my 4th guy. And I got T. Higgins, because T. Higgins is also a monster. He didn't run at the combine, which I think is going to hurt his draft stock because people really wanted to see him run the 40. But we'll see how he does at the Clemson Pro Day. But those are my top 5 receivers. But there's also other guys like Denzel Mims, who I think is a late first-round talent. And if there was nobody else, I would take him at 21. But I'm also of the mindset that if you're not able to get Ruggs, Lamb, or Judy, there's other options. And other options include adding a receiver in free agency and adding one via trade. And if you do that before the draft, then it opens the door for you to draft the safety of the future. And I like Xavier McKinney more than Grant Delpit. I think Delpit is better with coverage, but with Xavier McKinney, he's better at the line of scrimmage. You can move him all over. He had a lot of injuries to the linebacker position last year. So McKinney actually, he was in charge of making all the calls on the defense. And I think those are things that you can't put on a grade sheet or whatever. They're just they're the things that go unnoticed. But I notice them. And I think the Eagles would really value that. And I think it would open the door for them to trade Malcolm Jenkins. I really do, because he reminds me of Malcolm Jenkins. He can make plays on the ball. He can get interceptions. Like I said, you can move him all over the defense, like they move Malcolm all over the defense. So if you're not able to take a receiver, I think you got to go that route. I really do.
Yeah, you're right. You're spot on with all the top prospects, dude. And honestly, there's three things that could happen. It's either we're gonna go up and get our guy. That's number one. Number two, we're gonna sit at 21 and wait till someone drops. Or number three, we're gonna pick a whole different position, like we did last year. Heavy D line, get a left tackle, and then this year, heavy at wide receiver. Could go linebacker, could go safety. You never know. Um, I think at this point we need to see what free agency really looms, because I don't. There's a lot of questions with free agency because I don't know. There's a lot of news that's been updated now with the receivers of free agency. Whether we're going to be signing Byron Jones to, that's our top guy. That's our top guy in free agency right now, obviously. And whatever
If you want me to be completely honest,
Yeah.
I think Byron Jones to the Eagles is already a done deal.
Yeah.
I think they already have the deal worked out. I think as soon as March 18th, 19th, whenever it starts, I think it's going to be like 5 minutes in the tops, and they're going to say Byron Jones to the Eagles. And a lot of people, I want to talk about the Byron Jones situation, because Byron Jones gets criticized because he doesn't get interceptions. If the guy just can't really catch, and if you're a DB, your job is not to catch. Yes, you want to create turnovers, and that's the goal. But I don't think people really shouldn't have room to criticize Byron Jones, given the corner play that we've had for almost a decade. The last time that we had a good cornerback was, when I say good, I mean notably good, not just a decent guy. I think Maddox is a decent guy, and what I think is if you do add Byron Jones, I think Maddox is capable of being the number 2 corner, and you have Trayvon LeBlanc as a slot. So I think the corner position, even if you just add one guy, I would actually like to see them if a guy drops into the second round, if you can get another one there, and you have Byron Jones, and you keep Maddox around, and you keep Trayvon LeBlanc around. With this new DB coach that came over from the Falcons, he has a good track record with DBs. You get the most out of them. But people have been so mad about Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills, and the list goes on. The Nnamdi Asomugha signing was terrible. The Byron Maxwell signing was terrible. Bradley Fletcher, Kerry Williams. How long is this list? You got a laundry list of bad corners. So I'm not worried if he doesn't get interceptions. He's gone up against the best of the best. He's taking care of his side, and teams don't throw his way because of how good he's been in coverage.
Right.
And he also has played safety, and that's something Jim Schwartz looks for, is guys that can play multiple positions. And this, I feel like I say this in every single stream, but I always bring up the Super Bowl, the strip sack play. Brandon Graham is a defensive end. They moved him to defensive tackle, and that was the play that won the Super Bowl. It really was a strip sack. Like I said earlier, Jenkins, they move him everywhere. Dudes that you can move everywhere are valued by the Philadelphia Eagles. So when I'm looking at it, man, Byron Jones is going to be a perfect fit, and people are concerned about, I don't want to pay him $16 million. I don't want to pay him $17 million. You guys have to look at the whole landscape of this, because there's guys that are going to make a lot more than Byron Jones is going to make. The dude from the Saints, Lattimore, he is going to get a lot more than 17. Ramsey is going to get a whole lot more than 17. So when you look back on it, we get Byron Jones for $16 million a year. It's going to look like a bargain in the long run. So I'm all in on Byron Jones. I'm all in on going heavy defense in this free agency. I want to add Byron Jones. We have enough. I trust Howie Roseman to work with the cap to create even more cap space. You know, even last year we had negative money in cap space. We were basically in a huge hole, and he got us to where we could make notable signings like Malik Jackson, even though he got hurt. That would have been a really good thing to have. You know, we were set up perfectly. We had Cox and Malik Jackson, and we had Timmy Jernigan coming off the bench. So I mean, I like what Howie does with the cap. We can add Corey Littleton and add Byron Jones. Mm-hmm. I think in the draft, you're set up to go heavy offense. You can go up. You can get whoever you want. You can get CeeDee Lamb or Judy. And you can be ready to rock in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's saying, that's what I've been hearing. I've been hearing, because, Byron Jones is an ex-Cowboy, and it's just to the point where it's all about getting the best guy. And who's the best free agent corner? It's Byron Jones. And look, you look back at, Byron Maxwell had the Legion of Boom around him. Like, what did Byron Jones really have around him? I think he did a lot of work. I mean, he's had some really good coverage. He had very good coverage on Michael Thomas this year. He's been against the elite receivers. And then everyone's like, oh, pay, the Cowboy fans are saying, oh, I hope you guys pay him. Free agency, you're overpaying for everybody. Okay, there's no fair deal. Free agency is not about fair deals. Okay, look at Jack Conklin from the Titans, offensive lineman. That guy's 24 years old. Going to get paid a shit ton of money. Not even just that, his pass block is not that good. His run block is amazing.
I heard the Titans were going to give him more than Lane Johnson.
Yeah, he's going to be the top paid. Yeah, he's going to. Yes. And
back to what you said about the whole Byron Jones. I think he has had stuff around him, but he's also been part of the stuff that he has around him. Yes, they have talented players on their defense.
Yeah, of course they do.
They got Vander Esch. They got Jalen Smith. They got, even though I think DeMarcus Lawrence is the most overrated defensive lineman ever. He's still good. You could be overrated and still be a good player, but that's not really the point. Byron Jones has done his job, and this seems to happen with fans when they lose a player. Every time a player goes to another team, especially if they go to a rival or a team they don't like, they'll just say, oh, well, he was overrated anyway. We didn't want him anyway. Until they go up against him, who's going to be very motivated, going up against his team, his former team, in the division twice a year, no less. They're not going to be keeping the same energy with that. I can actually see Byron Jones completely taking Amari Cooper out of the game, because Amari, he has really good games against bumps like he has had against us.
Right.
But when you look at his track record, when he went up against Stephon Gilmore, when he goes up against the best, he doesn't really perform that much. And what we need to do is add a guy that can just handle his own side of the field, and I think everything else will take care of itself. Pass rush will take care of itself. We definitely need to have a linebacker, but I think the rest of this defense can handle their shit as long as we get the corner that's not going to get beat every snap. We'll be all right. So I actually was iffy on Byron Jones a while ago, but I warmed up to it and I'm all in on it.
If they gotta pay him, they gotta pay him. Whatever it's going to cost. I don't even care how much they pay. I mean, I don't even care at this point. I mean, we need. You're not going to go in this draft and get a guy that's going to start day one. Yeah, you're not. Like you're not getting a top 10 corner in this draft. You're not getting Jeff Okudah. You're not going up there and grabbing somebody, and he's not dropping. So you know what? If they got to go pay a corner, they have to. They have no choice. There's people like, oh, we could have signed A.J. Bouye, but A.J. Bouye got traded to the Broncos. A.J. Bouye picked Denver. He picked to go to Denver. It wasn't. There was multiple teams interested in trading for A.J. Bouye, and the Eagles were probably one of them. I bet you $100 the Eagles were probably one of them. But the Jaguars gave A.J. Bouye permission to pick the team he would rather go to, and he wanted to go to Denver. I don't know why, but
also A.J. Bouye I think he's a really good corner. He's definitely above average. But people would expect him to be like Darrell Revis, and it just wouldn't work. He's not that good. I want to rephrase that. I don't mean he's not that good, but he's not an upper echelon cornerback. He's just a guy that he can get the job done. He's very serviceable. But I think he definitely did have his playing on the opposite side of Jalen Ramsey in Jacksonville, and we don't have that. We don't have that. We need a guy who's going to be a number one corner, not a guy that's going to be a number two corner. We have guys that can be number two corners. I even think Sidney Jones can still be a number two corner. He made huge plays down the stretch. And it's like I said earlier, when it comes to all the DBs we have, even dudes that have struggled, I think the new DB coach, is make a huge impact on the secondary.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because he's been, he's been all over. He's been every type of coach. He's been a head coach. He's been a defensive coordinator. I mean, he's been pretty much all over the place. And you know what? I think him and Jim will work really well together. Because this cornerback position, it needs to get upgraded like now. I mean, they need to at least draft one. I know they're already bringing in some nickel corners right now. They've already got the visits are going to be starting now. So this is like the starting point of now the visits are going to happen and they're going to see who's going to be their guy. But we have guys on this team. The problem was we didn't have that number one guy. Now, I'm not saying that Byron Jones is Deion Sanders out there, but regardless, you have to pay. That's what I'm saying. Regardless, you have to pay. If you go into free agency, you're spending more than you should. That's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of free agency. This is why people are like, well, we're going to pay too much. Well, that's the whole point of free agency. I mean, it's just crazy what people think. But I think you're right about getting.
Think that if people are asking why we're going to pay someone that much, I would personally like to know who you would rather spend the money on that's available right now. Because if you want to spend the money on a receiver, what receiver do you want to give a boatload of money? I like Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson went to the school at Temple University, and I think he's a very good receiver, but I'm not quite sure if he's a number one receiver. Amari Cooper, I think, is a number one receiver, but I don't think he's worth $100 million. There's tiers of receivers in the league. You have the elite guys that are in the league. Then you have the guys that are great. And then you got the guys who are very good. And you got guys that are good. And you got guys that are average. And you got guys that are below average. And I think Amari Cooper is somewhere in the middle of very good and great. He's somewhere like right in the middle of there. But he's led the league in drop passes ever since he was drafted in 2000. He has the most drops in that 4-year span, 5-year span, however long it is. So he's good, but the consistency is not there for me. I won't give him $100 million. Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham Jr. I won't give him that contract that those guys got. Those other guys earned it on a consistent basis through their play for multiple years. Amari, he's had some Pro Bowl years. He's been very good. He's also been very inconsistent. Other than that, do you have any other notable retirement for Rashad Perriman? And I think the jury's still out on him. I don't think it'd be bad signing if they added him, but only if it was to be the number 2 at best wide receiver. You're going to get your number 1 receiver in the draft. You're really wanting to. It's like I said. You're really wanting to put your eggs in the basket of going all in, moving up, and getting your number 1 guy. If not, you're going to trade for a guy. You're going to trade for your guy from another team. And there's guys I think are going to be on the market on via trades. I think Kenny Golladay is going to be on the way out of Detroit. He's in the last year of his deal. He's looking to get paid. He's a 3rd-round pick. He's not making a lot of money. I think he's making like $809,000 next year. I don't know if the Lions are going to give him that money. The Lions are kind of in I think they're about to go into the full rebuilding There's been rumors they're going to take to Tagovailoa because they're really iffy on Matthew Stafford being able to stay healthy. Or are the Lions going to just say, you know what, we're going to take the Miami Dolphins route and we're just going to use this year, throw it out the door. We're going to stock up on as many picks as we can get, and maybe go all in next year and get Clemson's quarterback Trevor Lawrence. I think they are gonna. I think the Lions are about to rebuild. They have been talking about trading Darius Slay as well. So I think a lot of the notable guys out there, with the exception of a few guys, they're going to trade their whole team. But I think Galladay is a dude that they can get a lot of value for. I think Mike Evans is going to be. He might be. There might be something there with him. There's going to be guys that we could trade for, and I think the Eagles might go that route if they feel like that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, like the whole DeMarcus Robinson from Kansas City, I might even pass on that and talk about Brashad Perriman though, like a first round bust with the Ravens a few years back, but this past year with the Bucks, he didn't get a target until like week 11 or week 12 against the Saints. He had 6 touchdowns and over 600 yards, and he's fast, he's big, he can get by people, he's quick. I mean, it's like a come-up name in the wide receiver position this year in free agency. Now, he's not going to get paid a lot of money, okay? This is just from 1 year.
No, he's not.
But I think fairly you could sign him to a two-year deal or something where he can kind of prove his worth, because 1 year is really not going to cut it. But he did a really good job. I think he's looking like he's becoming a very good receiver. Some guys it takes a few years. You know what I mean? There's not that many free agent receivers, but like you said, a trade even with Galladay from the Lions. Like I think me and you agree. Like I think we would definitely. I would love to trade for him. I mean, he's going into his prime. He's what? I think he's 27 years old now. So I mean, as of right now, Robbie Anderson is going to be probably resigning with the Jets. It looks like it. I don't know why, but. I think he would get more money elsewhere, but I mean, he's still going to get a lot of money regardless. They're working on a big deal right now with him, so it's probably going to happen. But wide receiver wise, I don't know if maybe they'll. Do you think that they'll actually go wide receiver in free agency or a trade and go wide receiver this draft? Like that's why it's there's so many different combinations that this team can go through right now.
I don't really
No.
know.
No, we don't. There's so many different things they could do. So if they get rid of Alshon Jeffrey, huh?
I was gonna say. I mean, my gut feeling is, I think we're gonna trade for someone.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna. Usually, I have a feel of what we're gonna do, but I really don't know what we're gonna do. But my gut feeling is we're gonna get Galladay, and then we're gonna go safety in the draft. We're gonna go McKinney, and we're gonna trade Jenkins. That's what I think is gonna happen. Do I think is that what I want? No, obviously I want CeeDee Lamb because I think CeeDee Lamb is. I think he could step onto a field right now and be better than anyone we could get.
Yeah.
Anyone, almost anyone. And when I say that, I mean guys that are gonna be available. I mean, I'm not saying that I think he could step in and be better than DeAndre Hopkins day one. But I think the guy one day he's going to be the best receiver in the NFL. And I think if you got a chance to get a dude like that, you got to do it. You got to do it even if you got to give up 2 picks and a player. I think Barnett is expendable. I think Jannard Avery is going to be ready to do eye on him. They wanted to draft him. They weren't able to. They got him in a trade from the Browns. Mm-hmm. He's had a year in the scheme. I think he's going to push Barnett out the door. We may not trade Barnett on draft night, but by training camp, if Barnett is getting outperformed by Avery, I think he's gonna be gone. Yeah. And he's a first round pick. He was a top 15 pick. And he has had flashes, but it just really hasn't been what we expected from him. We expected him to be. We pretty much expected him to be heir apparent for Brandon Graham because Brandon Graham was getting old and we didn't think he was going to resign. So we were like, all right. By the time Brandon Graham leaves, Burnett will be ready. Burnett's not ready. Graham is still here. They traded for Avery. I think it's going to be Avery's time. And I think Barnett is an expendable player. You can trade him on draft night if you can get into the top 10 with him, your first, and maybe even a third. I think that would be a good enough deal to get all the way up there. But I definitely think there's going to be some moves this offseason. I think Barnett is going to be the name to watch. There hasn't been any rumors about this, but this is just gut feeling of mine, man. They're high on Jannard Avery. The dude's supposed to. He didn't get that much playing time last year. I guess because he was just coming over and he was learning the defense and everything. But I think this offseason is going to be his time to shine.
If you guys have not, I'm going to do a cutoff here. If you guys have not, we got 40 people in here right now. If you guys have not, down below, please subscribe to this channel. If anyone's even new to this, please subscribe to this channel. If not, with Philly Jim here, go to Philly Jim's YouTube channel and subscribe to that as well. He took a little bit of a break, but he's going to get back into the mix real soon, and we're going to have a lot more videos. We're going to have a lot more videos coming. So if you guys haven't subscribed to both these channels, subscribe to both of these channels and follow us on Twitter as well. Okay.
Also subscribe to the official Read and React channel because moving forward, during the season we did alternate. He did the post game show. We alternated on both of our channels, but we're really trying to build that channel up. So what we need you guys to do is go ahead and subscribe to that if you haven't done it already. And I really appreciate it, and Joey will also appreciate it. We're trying to really build something on there so we can go on there regularly, and we are going to start using it more regularly. So you really don't want to miss any more of the React show. Make sure you hit that sub button.
Yes, and I actually just went on the channel just now and I forgot to put it in the slide of to subscribe to it. I totally forgot about it. So I just actually commented. Please sub that up, guys. We're trying to build that up pretty nicely. This channel actually just got monetized a few weeks ago because of you guys, and really much love, guys. Really much love from everybody. The channel is definitely we're accepting super chats, donations. I have another account that I pretty much I'm putting money into that. Going to upgrade this channel a lot more. So anything that is spent or is going towards this channel is going to go towards equipment or just upgrading in general. So I will have a separate playlist on YouTube, make videos of things that I do purchase for this channel for nice upgrades because of you guys. So I really do appreciate that a lot. So just letting you guys know. So getting back to it, I think at this point we need to see what this team does in free agency, and there's just so many combinations they could do. I honestly haven't. All we're really hearing is the Byron Jones thing, but other than that, dude, could they go after a pass rusher?
Who are they gonna go after?
I honestly don't know. No.
Johnny Ngakwe was the guy that I thought that we may go after because he's a perfect fit for our defense. Big 4-3 defensive end. I really thought we were going to go after him, but he got franchise tagged where where the Jaguars intend to tag him and try to get some value for him if they do trade him. But the other guys, I like Shaquille Barrett, but he's more of like a 3-4 guy. Jadavion Clowney. I know that a lot of people are gonna
skip.
Lose their fucking minds over that.
Oh, so he's interested in being a Giant. So what happens was the other day he said he wanted to play for the Giants. The Giants are probably going to be out of his price range. He wants to get paid between $22 million to $25 million a year. But he said at the end of the year he doesn't want to play for a quote unquote sorry ass team. He wants to go to a contender. What is with these players that want to go to the Giants, like Golden Tate, like Jadeveon Clowney, that want to go to contenders and they want to go to the Giants? I don't get that.
Well, he wants to. He's on a contender. Seattle is a contender. Like, why would you want to leave that situation other than the Seahawks want to put more offensive talent around Russell Wilson? But, the Giants, I think, are actually going to be better than people expected in 2020, but I definitely don't think they're going to be contenders or whatever. And I think it's all bullshit, blowing smoke from Clowney. When a player says, "Oh, I don't care about money," they're fucking lying. They want as much money as they can make. That's like for us, for instance. If I'm at my full time job and I'm making a salary, and then there's another company that checks my resume and says, "Hey, we know you're at this company, blah 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 blah, but if you come to us, we'll give you like $5 more an hour or something like that." You're gonna say, "Oh, okay, send my 2 weeks notice. All right, I'm gonna head out, and you're gonna take that job." So when players say that, it's just a bunch of bullshit. Clowney is looking to get paid. I really don't think he cares where it is. But if he does come to NFC East, it's going to raise a bunch of eyebrows because his dirty history. He did almost break Nick Foles' neck when he was on the Texans, and he did spear Carson Wentz in the back of the head in the playoffs last year. So if he goes to the Giants, people are going to be very concerned about that because they're going to be worried that he's going to do something to Carson Wentz. But I think if he did sign in the NFC East, Lane Johnson's going to be ready. He's going to be ready for him. I think Lane is a little upset that he wasn't able to play in that game because obviously we're a different team with and without him. But I think if he does sign there, he's gonna have a little something for him. He will. So Clowney, if he comes to the Giants, he can come to the Giants. If he goes anywhere, it doesn't matter where he goes. When we do see him, we are going to have a little something special for Mr. Clown.
Mr. Clown. We have another super chat from Birds Nation, $1.99. Dude, really appreciate it, bro. Shout out to Birds Nation.
Shout out to Birds Nation.
Birds Nation. I love when Desert made that video when the Ravens lost. He's like, I forgot what he said in this video. He's like, "You flocking? Y'all still flocking?" I love that. I tried to get Desert on tonight, but unfortunately he's working, but he's on standby, so he's just sitting in his car doing nothing but sleeping. So I couldn't get him on here tonight, which I was trying to do something. Let's see here. What else do we need to go over?
This could be the part of the show where we introduce Sports Moron of the Week. Hey, it's been a long time since we did one of these segments, so I'm going to give you guys my Sports Moron of the Week. I don't watch ESPN, but when I do see clips and stuff, it's usually on Twitter. So I saw the clip from this show that's on ESPN. It's called Get Up. It was when they were talking about the Nick Foles situation. Jaguars are going to trade they're trying to trade him if they can, or they might just outright release him and take whatever cap hit it is because they want to roll with Gardner Minshew. So all the talking heads on ESPN, they're like, "Oh, you should go to the Eagles. You should go to the Eagles. You should go to the Eagles." And then the one guy, I think his name's Dan Orlovsky. He was a former quarterback, and he was actually one of the avid defenders when it came to all the people who were bashing Carson Wentz last year. So none other than our friend Josina Anderson gets up there and says, "Oh, well, it would be good because blah, blah, blah. He gets along with all the players. He's this, he's that. He's a nice guy. He's respected in the locker room." Like, what makes people think because Alshon Jeffrey is a diva and he wants to make a scene and he wants to bash Carson Wentz? By the way, Alshon Jeffrey's a coward. I've been saying this for about a year now since I pretty much had a feeling it was him. Bottom line is, this is the difference between Alshon Jeffrey and Terrell Owens. And Terrell Owens has been bashed by Eagles fans, mainly due to the fact that he went to the Cowboys after all this shit happened with Donovan McNabb. But here's the thing that I respect about T.O. He had a problem with McNabb, and he wasn't afraid to tell McNabb that he had a problem. Alshon Jeffrey's afraid to tell Carson Wentz that he has a problem with him. you know, he has a problem with him throwing to Ertz too much or whatever it is. Whatever the problem is that you have with him, you don't have the guts to confront him about it. So Josina is taking that as, oh, no one respects him. I think most of the team respects him, especially after how bad he was playing against the Patriots, Seahawks. It was probably the two back-to-back worst game stretch of his life. He also had a terrible first half against the Giants in that Monday night game, and then all of a sudden, Wentz started figuring shit out. And his problem was he was trying to be Superman. He was trying to make plays by him. He finally figured out how to just take what the defense gives him. So he took huge strides as a leader, and everyone respected him for it, especially with all the injuries to the receiver position. And I think it's ridiculous that because you want to create a story, you blatantly make shit up about how people don't like Carson Wentz. First of all, of all the quarterbacks in the league, there's a lot of quarterbacks that are likable guys, and there's a lot of quarterbacks that you're like, wow, this guy's a total douche.
Yeah.
Like he never wants to take any blame. He never wants to take any accountability. He points the finger at everyone else. Carson Wentz is not that dude. Carson Wentz genuinely is one of the nicest guys in the world, probably. Yeah. You know, he's very big about his religion and stuff, his family and stuff like that. You know, like, he's an all shucks kind of.
We good?
Sorry, somebody called me during the stream.
I was like, we good?
But anyway, it's like I was saying. He's such a likable dude, and you're just gonna create shit about him because you don't want him to. Because you just want to create a fucking story about him. Sorry, that call threw me off. So, but that's pretty much what I have to say about that. Josina, you're a sports moron of the week.
Okay, and Dak Prescott gets offered a new deal with more guaranteed money. 105. Well, 100. No, was it 108? 105? I forgot what it was, but he got a bigger deal with more guaranteed money on the table. Not taking it. 105 million. Thank you, Philly Wolf. 105 million. And still not taking this deal. So
I'm sorry, bro, but there's some technical difficulties going on. The phone call just took all the audio out, so I can't hear what you're saying now. So that sucks ass.
Well, come back in. If you need to come back in real quick. No big deal.
I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do about this.
Go ahead.
No. Fuck. I'm gonna try to rejoin it.
Yeah. Yep. Anyways, guys, appreciate everybody being here tonight. Awesome. 40 people in here. I love you guys. Seriously. I've been reading these comments. You guys are hilarious. Hold on. Jim. There you go.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, but yeah, like I said, the phone call fucked everything up.
Okay.
But that Josina's she's my sports moron of the week. She has no credibility. And I hate her. Honestly, I hate her. I think she's a malicious human being, and she should not be allowed anywhere near the NovaCare complex going forward.
So
they should have a security guard kick her ass out.
Yeah. So Dak Prescott, right? We could probably go into this. So was offered $105 million fully guaranteed deal. $33
million a year.
With more guaranteed money in the mix. So that puts him up past Carson Wentz, past Jared Goff. Didn't take it. And
Wentz and Goff Wentz and Goff have more guaranteed money, but he would be making a higher annual salary than Wentz.
Yeah.
But still, $105 million guaranteed, that's a lot of money to turn down. And there's probably not a team that's going to offer him more than 105. They might offer him $1 or $2 million more, but it's really not that much of a difference.
Yeah, I just don't know if if they tag him, it's $33 million fully guaranteed for this year. I mean that's not going to be a good sign, and that means if he gets tagged, and I think Dak has already said that if he gets tagged, he's going to he's not going to show up to off-season workouts, or it's not going to happen. But they still got a lot of they got a lot of cap space right now. They still haven't paid a wide receiver. Their plan right now is to pay Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott, Robert Quinn, Randall Cobb. That's the four right now and then they're probably, I saw the reports that they may be going after Chris Harris because he's a free agent at 30 years old coming from Denver. So that could happen as well. So it's gonna, we're gonna have to see what happens with them over there because they have a lot, with a new head coach now coming in and Mike McCarthy. A lot of people call him Frosty the Snowman. I don't know why, but there's gonna be, the whole NFC East right now. Besides us,
dude, people won't stop fucking calling me. It happened again. Hold on, I gotta turn on Do Not Disturb and I'll be back.
All right. Like Joe Judge from the Giants, like what is Joe Judge? Honestly, I don't know what they saw in Joe Judge, but it's so I don't know. I could have probably been saying the same thing about Doug Pearson when he came here, Yeah, I don't want Chris Harris. I don't want a 30-year-old corner here anyway. I don't even want him here anyway. I don't want an old corner here. I don't want to bring in corners that are 30 years old. Period. I don't. Every week, Matt. It's always interesting. Every week, bro. It always is. If you guys haven't, please subscribe to this channel if you guys are new to the channel, and follow us on Twitter, Philly Jim. Follow him on YouTube. He's coming back into the mix now. If you guys have not, this channel was monetized a few weeks ago. I just enabled super chats, donations, all that is up now. I have a separate account for the donations and super chats. I'm going to be building that. It's been building the past few days because everybody's been very generous. So those are enabled. I will be making, videos on things that I do purchase for this channel. I'll be I have another account for this channel. We'll be piling the money up for that, and we'll be making videos on separate things, things that I purchased to upgrade the channel. So just letting you guys know on that. I always say that because people don't know if I'm monetized or have super chats or not. So hold on. No.
Take two. Take two. Do not disturb is on now, bro.
You're upside down. You're upside down.
The whole world's upside down.
The whole gym world is upside down.
All right, people doing late night booty calls for Philly Jim. Not really working out. Whole world's upside down. All right, we're back for good.
We're good. Okay.
All right, so where do we leave off? Dak Prescott?
Yeah.
All right, well, I think he should have taken the deal. He didn't. Not my problem. Not our problem. Cowboys will figure it out. If they let him go and don't pay him, I don't know what they're going to do with their quarterback. Are they going to draft a QB? What exactly is their backup plan if they don't have Dak? I don't know. Tom Brady, Philip Rivers. What is your plan if you don't sign him? I really don't know what your plan is. I don't think Dak's the best quarterback in the world. I definitely don't. I also don't think he's the worst quarterback in the world. So it just comes down to, what is your backup plan? Do you have one? I don't know if they do.
They don't have a backup quarterback. No one good. I know that. And plus, Dak has already said that he's going to, he's going to hold. I mean, he's definitely going to hold out. If he gets tagged, he's gonna hold out until the deal is done. I mean, he's going to sign a deal this year. It's going to happen. He's going to sign a deal. I mean, it is. It's hard to say, but he might not even show up all of the offseason, and there's plenty of time for him to just sit on the couch, do nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
But
Not my problem, though. Not your problem.
no, I can care less. The more drama, the better it is.
Yeah, there's always drama associated with Dallas, so let them do it. I'd rather keep it quiet in Philly and keep building on what we got.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Same old here. Why do I have a feeling that, dude? The one thing that's bothering me about this whole offseason, and it's not even the biggest. It's not even like a big deal. I just what are they doing with Alshon Jeffrey, man? Like, it's bothering me that he's still here. It's really bothering me.
He's not going to be on the team.
I really hope not. Dude, if
they
we
don't want him, they definitely don't want him.
If we held Alshon Jeffrey for another year, he would be an $18 million cap hit in 2021. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, it's just.
They're not going to risk it. There's too much problems associated with it.
Now, when his agent tweeted out that Alshon Jeffrey loves playing for the Eagles and all this stuff that's going on, wasn't that like to kind of make sure his market's not going? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe whatever was said didn't want to get out there. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
No, he only said that because of all the shit that was coming out about him having a bad relationship with Wentz. And he knew that wasn't a good look for him, so he wanted to just say, "Oh, well, that's not true." Blah blah blah. He likes playing in Philly, and he just said it because it was the right thing to say. And that's what agents are. Agents are paid to be professional bullshitters when it comes to negotiating contracts, when it comes to everything else with your client. That is what your job is. I studied sports management at Temple, and in one of my classes, they taught us that you gotta have certain tactics if you're gonna be a sports agent.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the business, but I mean, it's just bothering me because nothing's coming out about this yet. So I mean, I'm not expecting to hear about everything that's going on, but
probably not gonna happen until after free agency starts.
And even if you go to the Malcolm Jenkins situation, I'm very optimistic. I'm gonna go into this positive because I honestly feel the Eagles are actually trying to figure something out with Malcolm. I really don't think they're going towards the way of trading him or whatnot. I mean, if you trade him or release him, you're only getting $2 to $3 million in cap. So it's not even I mean, it's good, but it's still not really worth it what you're getting out of Malcolm in the end. But I'm just going to keep my optimism going into this and kind of saying that they are kind of trying to meet in the middle. But if he wants 14, 15, it's not going to happen because after Eddie Jackson getting his new deal, it kind of put Malcolm Jenkins out of the top 10 of getting paid. So he's at least $8 million below a top 10 safety right now. And I really hope they're working on something. I mean, if it is what it is. Because right now, ever since the Malcolm Jenkins stuff happened, I kind of been thinking to myself that we have two holes at safety. I mean, ever since it kind of first started happening, that's what I thought. So
they've been saying that the Eagles want to bring Rodney McLeod back, though. I've been hearing about that. But when it comes to Malcolm Jenkins, I don't think they're just gonna let the whole thing die out. I think they are gonna try to work something out. But what the thing with Jenkins is, I don't think annual salary is what he's looking for. I don't think the 14, 15, whatever $1 million a year is what he wants. I think what he wants is more guaranteed dollars. I think that's what he wants. Yeah. I don't think the salary is what he's looking for. But it really depends. But I will say this. I'll end it with this. I don't think the Eagles are going to let Jenkins go without having a backup plan in place.
Yeah.
the trade could be taking a safety in the first round. But they're not just gonna leave a hole there because that's what happened when Brian Dawkins left. Didn't have a good safety until Jenkins came along.
Right.
So then they were pretty much in a bad situation for about 5 years. So like a 5-6 year span between Dawkins' departure and when Jenkins signed. So I think they learned from that. So I think they're gonna have a backup plan if they do decide to part ways. But if they can work it out, I think they probably will.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they could just meet in the middle and give him a little bump would be all right. You know what I mean? So, I agree. I agree. I think honestly he's got to retire an Eagle, man. He's got to stay with this team till the end, and man, just having him. Just imagine just having guys around him. Imagine having two corners that are actually are talented, and he doesn't have to sit on the sideline like he did. Remember early in the year when he was like, telling these corners, to put their jock straps on, and start playing because he was getting pissed off at these corners. He was getting pissed at Sydney. He was getting pissed at a lot of these guys. Rasul Douglas cannot start. Crayvon Block can play the nickel. Avonte Maddox is very balanced because I remember we had Avonte Maddox like his rookie year at safety because we had injuries. McLeod tore the ACL, whatever happened there. And you know what? Like we have guys that can move around. Malcolm can move around. Avonte can move around. Rasul Douglas can't play outside corner. Sorry. I mean, this is a guy from West Virginia that led the whole team in interceptions. I mean, it's just crazy.
I think another option at the safety position is Anthony Harris. He played for the Vikings.
Yeah.
He had a career high. I think he led the league in interceptions last year, actually. I think the guy's a good player. I think they would sign him if they could get a deal there. But it's like I said, he's not going without there being some kind of backup plan.
Yeah, even another free agent that's out there is Clinton Dix as well. He actually played really well with the Bears last year. That's probably another option. I've made a video about that. So I mean, there's options out there, but like you said, there's a backup plan. Obviously, if they're not going to be like, oh my God, now we have two holes at safety. You know, what I mean, it's not going to be like that. So that's pretty much about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that about covers it, boss.
yeah, I think we're caught up. I think we caught up on pretty much everything, and this is a lot because we haven't really talked about this on video. We haven't talked about this
Right.
at all.
So you know what? We're gonna start being more active with the React show. So me and Joe are gonna have some discussions about this and see what we can work out. So we can both do this on a weekly basis going forward. And we'll talk about what we're going to do about free agency and stuff of that nature going forward. So just want to thank everybody again for the support. And I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. So you guys are the best around, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, really do. And like it's been absolutely amazing, especially welcome home to Philly Jim, back to the community here. And moving forward and doing what we like to do is getting on camera, talking about our birds, and that's what's important. You know what I mean? And it's a good outlet. It's a good outlet for us. So we love doing this. Our passion is doing this. So if you guys have not, down below, guys, right here, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to Philly Jim's channel, our Twitter as well. I really have not. I mean, I'm not the type of guy that used to say, oh, follow me on Twitter. But now I'm kind of getting more people. I've seen more people following on there. So if you guys have not, subscribe to both of these channels right down below. Okay, and there's going to be a lot of stuff, coming forward between free agency. We have the draft. A lot more live streams. If you guys have not, so March 18th is when free agency begins when players can get signed at 4 o'clock. The tampering period is the 16th, but the free agency starts on March 18th. I will be having a live stream that day. It's going to probably be a StreamYard, most likely that day. It's going to be at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. That's when I'm going to start that. I haven't put a post about it yet, but 2:30 p.m. on the 18th. I actually switched days off for that day, so I'll be free all day that day. We'll probably go from 2:30, probably past 4 o'clock, probably an hour past 4, probably 2:30 to 5. We'll probably run it. We're gonna have some people come in. I really haven't really asked anybody. I know Jim will probably most likely be there. Desert hopefully will probably be there, and a few other guys will be there as well. So look for a post out for that, and that's going to be pretty exciting too to sit here and just wait for the news and kind of go through this thing together. So
Absolutely, man. I can't wait. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. Glad to be back. Thanks for watching tonight.
thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Shake Squad up, Flagels fly. Peace.